Welcome to the next episode of Discipline, Desire, and Dedication. My name is Dakota Lang, co-host Garrett Cotton. Episode 23, another Sunday morning podcast, and we got Big Red on. Welcome, Clay.
What's going on, y'all?
A.K.A. Clay Davis. Yeah, bro. Glad to finally get you on. You've been crushing it.
It's been a while.
Yeah, been a while, man. Kind of just, I know some people back home know you, and we'll have some following back there, but also throughout the country, let introduce those people who Big Red is.
Mm-hmm. Well, Big Red is the life of the party.
Yeah.
I love to hang out with friends. I love to entertain people.
Yeah.
And I think the ultimate thing about this job for me is I got to be Big Red at the door. You know, people love to be entertained at the door, and so I got to get in there and give them a little show.
And before we get into that though, so tell us where you came from, some of the previous jobs you worked.
All right. So it all started. I got divorced in 2020.
You were actually married?
I was actually married.
I never knew that.
For a very short stint. Not going to name drop.
Yeah.
Moved on for the better. God had a better plan for me. Mm-hmm. Started doing comedy. I loved getting in front of people, making people laugh. Gotten a little crazy, type of lifestyle. So I had to walk away from that scene. Move myself up to Shreveport, Louisiana, to get away from the hometown. My demons running around.
And I'm going to cut you off right here just because I know a little bit more about your story than what you're saying. But let's go back to your childhood, bro.
Let's
go back to your childhood.
Way back.
Yeah,
bro.
Well, let's go. Let's go back to your. Well, the thing is that your story is so unique because of where you came from. So talk about, because me and you graduated high school together, right, in 2015 from Live Oak. And kind of talk about, let's not, we ain't got to go to, when you were 5, but let's start about what, 6th grade, 7th grade?
6th grade.
Yep. So you're in middle school.
Playing football.
Yep.
Playing football at Dakota. We sucked for the most part of high school. Middle school, we were pretty good.
Yep.
We got a winning mentality early in life.
Yep.
That carried into 8th grade year. We did pretty good again. Walking into high school.
What was your goal when you went into high school? Where was what did you want to do with your life?
I think I was going to be a preacher.
Yeah,
I think that's what it originally going to start off as. I was going to be a preacher back in the day, and I like to party a little bunch. So I know my Bible pretty good, and so I knew I wasn't supposed to live a double lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, me and the church had to part ways, and that was okay. And so I kind of consider my upbringing kind of like the prodigal son,
Mm-hmm.
Always knowing the right thing to do, but never doing it. Always doing what, you wanted
to do.
Yeah.
Hey, mister, you get me a 6-pack of beer. And I'm a sophomore in high school, I had no business being part of a Christian fellowship group at church or in the school, but as far as I was concerned, all the other FCA leaders were doing it, bad example, but as you got older, you started to realize, hey, this ain't cool. So stopped doing that, got better involved with the church, started partying again, went my own way again, got separated from the church again, and then graduation comes around. I was going to be a welder, Tell myself I'm going to be a welder. I can make more money than anybody I know back home welding, and I was pretty good at it. The school taught us how to do it.
Yeah.
So Dakota went off to college. Myself and didn't hang out with anybody from school after that, Everybody went their own ways. We all got our own new careers, and I started working 9 to 5 and being slave drove like the people building the pyramids, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned real quick that I got to get out of Watson, Louisiana if I want to make something of myself. Mm-hmm. So dove into the plants, started welding, and I started fitting a little bit, took a little foreman's job, and then got married, and then that didn't work out, so started doing comedy, went back to a little hometown shop, building pyramids again, for the Hebrew slave master.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't for me. I always knew there was something else out there.
Yeah.
How did you initially get into the comedy scene? So you moved to Alexandria?
No, Shreveport.
Shreveport.
Yeah.
So you moved to Shreveport. You graduate high school. You want to be a welder, and then you're working in Baton Rouge as a welder.
Yeah, I'm doing comedy as a welder in Baton Rouge.
Okay.
It's right before I move up to Shreveport, and really, bro, the rock star lifestyle. We was going from Houston to Mobile, Alabama, doing little hole in the wall comedy shows, and it was fun, bro. We had a lot of fun, lots of fun.
Right.
Literally, I wrestled some dude from the ULL powerlifting team in the middle of the Lafayette, Corbin. I think you know Corbin Belgards, I think's his last name.
Maybe.
But big old boy from Live Oak now. Yeah, wrestled him out. I was all hyped up on that sugar,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't like who I was becoming, So I had to get away from it.
Yeah. Talk about because you had some good times in the comedy scene, but also you've had some dark moments.
Yeah,
Let's
so
talk about the dark moments.
Because of those addictions, I started that the guy in the mirror you hate to look at, because that's who you're ultimately going to have to come home and answer to.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a girlfriend, you can have a spouse, you could be in a relationship, but ultimately, if you aren't happy with the guy you go home and look at in the mirror, you're never going to do anything else in life. Like, you're going to live in that cycle of whatever current hell you're living in. And to me, I knew, I was a smart guy. I'm very perspective looking. And I started to see the spiral effect of my decisions. And I showed up to a family party. And I was on a 3-day bender. I did some shrooms before I showed up, so I was really messed up. Showed up with my sunglasses on, and my cousin, the guy that lives up in Shreveport, Nathan, the one I'm taking to the Alabama game, shout out Nathan Davis. He's a real G. He pulled me out of it.
Really?
He dropped my sunglasses down, pulled me off to the side, said, "Hey, bro, it's time to cut it out." And I knew exactly what he was talking about. He said, "Come live up in Shreveport with me. You need to get away from here. You don't need to know any of these people anymore."
Yeah.
And so ultimately, I knew Baton Rouge wasn't for me. So I go up to Shreveport, and I take a little sales job.
This is after the divorce.
Yes, after the divorce. So the divorce led to the comedy, as a coping mechanism. Eventually, the laughs quit making me feel good.
Right.
So I had to find something else. Led to the sniffing. And so get up to Shreveport, take a little sales job, really understand what it's like to work for a boss that's not a slave driver, somebody that doesn't micromanage you, to just expect you to get your job done. And that was nice. He trusted me, but this was during the shortage of chips for the vehicle industry. So his idea wasn't taken off just yet. It wasn't the right time. And so I had to step away from that, went back to welding on the road up there in Shreveport with a little company called Woods Tanks. And they're a good outfitter. They kept me busy. They allowed me to, live in Shreveport or Baton Rouge, wherever I wanted to be. And whenever I wanted to work, they sent me to work. So I worked for them for on and off for maybe about a year. And good people to work for. I still talk to the owner's son now, Hutton. He's a real good dude. And I ultimately just got tired of being on the road. I was ready to settle down somewhere, make my roots somewhere, and I was tired of living in a hotel room. So I was like, man, I'm getting ready to go home. So I put word out that I was looking for a job back home, and I got a phone call to come home for a foreman's position in the plants. And I said, "Hey, that sounds like a good gig." I drug up. They understood, hey, bro, go be with your family. No hard feelings. Wish you well. If it don't work out, come back. We always got a spot for you.
Yep.
Hey, man, I really appreciate it. I was a hard worker. So get home, and the people that I was going to work for, they knew my situation on my choice of things to do after work. I enjoy smoking. And so they told me it wouldn't be an issue. Come in, pass the well test. And he's like, all right, man, you got to go get your drug test. And I said, what you mean? And he's like, yeah, you got to go take a drug test. And I was like, dude, I just quit my job that, I was pretty successful at, that, I was probably going to move up over there over time, but what the hell? I literally quit a very good job to come home to this. I said, fuck no, man. I said, I'm not going to start a career path with you guys on a lie. I said, that's not going to happen. I said, the old company that I was working for, I said, they didn't care. They let me do it because I was a good worker. And I said, they had a file that said I had clean piss on the file at the office. So if they ever ask, yeah, we tested when we come into the office 7 days ago. So no problem. So I was expecting that kind of treatment when I got this new opportunity because, grass is always greener on the other side, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I tell the dude, I was like, look, man, kindly, I'm not going to work for you guys on a lie. And he tells me, you're a pussy, basically. And I tell him, I said, no, I said, God's got better plans for me. I'm not doing this. And he said, well, good fucking luck to you is what he said. And excuse my French, I know we're on the internet, but he said that. And I was like, all right, dude, well, kick rocks then.
Yeah.
And that was on like a Thursday. I'm talking to my godfather back home, and I was like, hey, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. He's like, you want to come, help me out around the house? I got, I'll pay you. I was like, man, I don't need like no money yet, He's like, no, like, I'll buy you beer money, get you some beer money so you're not going through your savings. It's like, yeah, not a problem. So I did that for like a day. And I had, all the time to be on social media. So out of nowhere, I see J-Rod's post, like, come work for Performance. And I was like, man, what is he talking about? And I skipped it. It was like on Friday. Well, then Saturday comes around. And I see Dakota's story, and it's a picture of J-Rod, and it's how much money Jared made on one Saturday.
Yeah, it was whenever he had that
five sales on one day.
And I slid up, and I said, bro, what are you selling? He said, windows. I said, how? He said, door to door. And he called me, literally. I didn't even know Dakota Lang had my phone number.
Yep.
On top of it.
Yeah.
And so
got to move quick.
So he had my phone
Urgency.
number from high school, bro. Like me and Dakota, we played sports growing up. We were always, cool with each other, but we weren't ever the best of friends. But he still had my number. Luckily, my number never changed. So he called me on the spot and was like, bro, what are you doing? And I'm like, man, I'm really just thinking about where I'm going to go work at. And he's like, well, come up here. And I'm like, well, what you mean, bro? He's like, come sell windows. You'd be a dog at it. And I'm like, man, I don't know, bro. And he's like, I'm telling you, man, come up. And LSU's playing like it's the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think it was the Alabama game, as a matter of fact.
It was in the fall time.
Yeah, and I think it was the Alabama game because I called my cousin and he thought I was calling to talk about the game. I'm like, bro, somebody from Denver, Colorado just called me and offered me a pretty good gig. And he's like, well, what is it? And I told him, I was like, well, man, Dakota offered me to come live with him for 2 months, no rent free, and no living expenses. Just come up here and try it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, well, I don't want to weld no more. I don't have a sales job lined up in Baton Rouge. I don't know how to find one in Baton Rouge. So I guess I'm going to Denver for 2 months to, enjoy the winter.
Yep.
I don't know if it's going to work for me, but I'm going to go see what's up there. And so I start researching performance windows after, me and Dakota initially talk, and everybody online is talking, oh, it's a pyramid scheme, or it's this, it's that, it's this. And so I tell Dakota, I was like, man, I'll let you know tomorrow after church. I'm going to pray about it. I just went to church the next morning. I was like, yeah, I think I'm moving to Denver. And everybody's like, well, that sounds good. Like, what are you going to do there? I was like, my work. And they're like, well, duh. I was like, well, I'm going to be outside and, enjoy the scenery, see what Denver has to offer. And they're like, well, are you sure? And I'm like, well, yeah. I was like, y'all ain't got nothing better going on.
Nope.
And so, moved up to Denver, on a moment's notice. Dakota bought my plane ticket on a Tuesday. I flew in, exhausted myself, like trying to remember that script. And
Oh, yeah.
I remember I woke up at like 2:40 to get on an airplane in Baton Rouge And so that was 1:40 y'all's time. Landed in Denver at 6 something, trying to find my bag and stuff, and I don't know who's picking me up. We didn't plan any of this. Like, I'm at the Denver airport, and Jared calls me. He's like, "Hey, bro, I'm running late, but I'm on my way." And I'm like, "All right, man." So Jared comes, picks me up. We roll out of Denver. I've been to Denver before, so the mountains weren't nothing new to me. Like, it was beautiful to it was beautiful to take in. Like, hey, I'm gonna be here for a little while. And so Jared drops me off with Dakota. Dakota's hyping me up. He's like, "Yeah, bro, you ready?" And I'm wearing my work boots, my blue jeans. I think I look good.
He looked like a welder.
Literally came up ready to work construction.
Yeah.
I was like, "Man,
we installing these windows."
I'm ready, boy." And he's like, "You ready?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You look tired." I'm like, "I'll be all right, bro." He's like, "Let's go to the office, see if you pass off script." And I was so tired, man, and I couldn't.
And this is 6 a.m, huh?
Yeah, this is 6 in the morning, right after y'all got done doing CrossFit or something.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting ready. Dakota's like, "You can smoke some weed." I'm like, "No, man, I ain't gonna smoke no weed. I know y'all's weed ain't what I can smoke yet." So I ain't even met Journey but one time, So it's Journey's waking up. She's like, "Who are you?" And I got a suitcase. I'm like, "I'm Clay." I was one of the first few recruits to live with him full time.
Yeah, you're probably about the 4th.
And but she had no idea who I was at all. No connection. And so I was like, "Okay, this is going to be an adjustment for everybody." And so we got to the office and tried to pass off script. Couldn't do it. Dakota's like, "Hey, bro, let's go home and rest, bro. You were exhausted.
Yeah.
You didn't even know you were going to be here last week." He's like, "You should go home, take it all in, take a nap, get acclimated to Denver." So I was like, "Okay." And so I went home, and Dakota showed me where he kept everything, and I went outside, and man, I maybe 2 puffs, bro.
Knocked
I got
out.
stuck on that patio looking at the mountains out there in Broomfield, Colorado. And finally, got up and went and took a nap, and walked in the next day, passed off script with Dylan Crafassi. And Levi come in the very next day. So my first day, I don't know how I did on the doors. I was probably scared shitless.
Yeah, so Levi came in. Well, what was that introduction to Levi's second day at work?
Yeah, and also, kind of talk about that. How does it feel like you're coming into a new gig
and meeting the dude in charge?
Meeting the main guy.
It was intimidating. I just passed off script, and for some reason, me and Cotton, shot the shit for a few minutes the morning before, and the morning of, and Cotton was like, "I guess he got a good understanding who I was as a person." And Levi comes walking in the office, and I just think, "Who the hell are you?" I've never seen him. I've just heard of him. And he's like, "Hey, nice to meet you." Real nice. And I'm like, "Who are you, man?" And so the meeting starts, and I'm sitting in the back wearing my blue jeans. I don't even think I have a performance window shirt yet.
Yeah.
And we're doing full script review in front of the office, and I'm the new kid on the block, and I'm watching all these veteran knockers, stumble through script with Levi, the CEO of the company, and he's like, "All right, well, this is enough of this. Let's move on to the next training." And Cotton was like, "Levi, I got one more for you. Big Red in the back, Clay, the new guy." And Levi kind of made a face "Are you sure?" And then Cotton's like, "Yeah, I'm sure." And so I got up there, bro, and I gave it my best, bro. I didn't hold back. He's just a normal person. He puts his pants on like me, just like you and I. Yeah. He's made good decisions. Yeah. And honestly, at the point in life where I'm at now, every reaction has an ultimate reaction. Yeah. And when you start doing enough good stuff, great things start coming to you.
Yeah. That's right.
And so, I just look at him as a dude that started doing good things really early in life, and the Lord blessed him. And so it's pretty awesome that he's given this opportunity who anybody wants to come knocking,
Yep.
Literally. It's
you take the risk.
Yeah. You take the leap of faith, and you will be rewarded. And so I get up there, and I get through with my script in front of him, and I was like, I wonder how I did, And the office in Denver was just like dead silent. And then Lizzie is like, "You're gonna be a fucking dog," and then the whole office just starts clapping. And I was like, I guess I did good. Mm-hmm. And so Levi, at that moment, everything, about once a week, he's always, reacted to something I've put in the Voxer, whether it be something I'm telling my guys, myself that I send in.
And that's one thing that
and it's
one thing with that's great about performance is that the way the structure's built is that, for example, you go up there the first time, you finally get to meet the CEO, and then you got Lizzie in here, rooting you on, and everybody else. And that's the best part about what we do is that my success helps your success, and your success helps my success. So talk about what you had when you came to Denver. So right. Let's get into nitty gritty.
So when I got into the Denver, I had $200 to my name. It was between jobs. I had a car back home that I was, about to lose. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't say anything. I was trying to, keep it low. And he was like, "What you gonna do about driving?" I was like, "Well, I'm about to lose my car." He's like, "Well, how much you need?" I was like, "More than I think it's worth." Mm-hmm. And so he's like, "So what you think?" I said, "I think I should just let it go. Get me a little beater to drive around."
Yeah.
And so my car got repossessed. I had no vehicle. And so, for the first,
month and a half?
Month, maybe. I think we got the car in December. Mm-hmm. The first month, I'm riding around in hood with people. And they're just dropping me off. And, that's nice. That's nice to not have a vehicle. You're walking around.
Forces you to grind.
In the mountain, It's really nice that I'm stranded out here like a homeless man.
You and nature.
Me and nature and homeowners.
And a script.
That's it.
And so, I'm walking around just making the most of it. And it was nerve-wracking at first. I think my first few weeks it was slow. But I remember telling Dakota, I was like, "I love being told no." And he's like, "Bro, you need to like being told yes."
No. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "No, man, these no's are coming to yeses." I said, "I'm going to get tired of these no's. They're going to start being yeses." And I remember I told Carter, I can't pronounce his last name.
Captabosk, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty hard for my the way I talk.
Yeah.
But I told Carter, I said, "Carter," I said, "you better watch out." Because Carter just got, the number one knocker incentive. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "What you mean, bro?" I said, "You might have been number one in here before." I said, "But there's a new dog in town. I'm coming for that number one spot." Mm-hmm. I said, "I don't know when, Carter, but I'm going to get it." And he looked at me, he said, "Well, I embrace the competition, but good luck, rookie." Uh-huh. And I said, "All right, bro, I got you." And this was the tail end of November. I get 3 sales that week, and 9% was, just an uncommon thing for the knockers to achieve at this point.
Yeah, 3 sales in a week.
And I did it the first time I got paid. Mm-hmm. And me and Dakota went shopping, bro. Mm-hmm. It was cold out in Denver, so I went and got me some good cold gear so I could be comfortable, And I believe that, if I'm not comfortable, the homeowner's not going to want to talk to me. So I was always dressed for the job, whether it be warm that day or cold that day.
That's right.
Sales is a transfer of energy.
That's it.
If you're nervous, they nervous.
Yeah, if you're freezing, they freezing. So I ain't trying to, I was wearing goggles one day when Cotton pulled up on me in hood during the snowstorm, bro.
All the time. I remember I'd roll up and you'd have ski goggles on. I'm like, hey, if you set an appointment, do whatever you got to do.
It don't matter.
It was bright, bro. I couldn't see, but people were like, "Man, this dude's out here. He must be out here all day. Like, what's he wearing goggles? Like, I'm going to listen to this dude." Mm-hmm. But I was just out there having a blast, meeting God's people really is how I started my day. I prayed every morning, "God, bring me to who needs to be helped today."
And then on top of that too, so in your Louisiana lifestyle, did you ever have like a routine? Did you ever have any type of system involved versus?
No, there was a routine. Go to work, get drunk after.
Yeah,
and it didn't work out.
Nothing that's going to help you grow.
But when we got to Denver, this is week 3. routine's becoming routine at this point.
And did you start the routine because you wanted to start the routine, or did you do it just because you were like, all right, this is what I got to do? Dakota's putting me on a.
Well, honestly, to be that honest with you, I hated CrossFit. Hated CrossFit.
Yep.
This is the first thing I look forward to not doing anymore when I moved out of it.
Never go back in that gym.
I'll go to the gym now 3 days a week. We talked about that, but you told me I need to up it to 4 or 5, get more consistency.
At least more than half of the week, you know.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I'm doing what works for me.
There you go.
So, but anyways, we're going to CrossFit every day. Like, my confidence is through the roof. And so I qualified this first month in December. Nobody else did it. I was like the diamond in the rough. Everybody was like, how'd you do it, man? I was like, bro, I was just asking people if they really wanted help. And a lot of people really did want help. It was cold, and they didn't want to be cold no more.
Yeah.
And so I was the the miracle of the season. You know?
That was your first qualifying month of December?
Yeah.
And then the second one was January.
January, my birthday month. We went to Utah. So 2 of the shortest months.
Yep.
The solid months. And they're the harder months to do it in.
Yeah.
And daylight, it's not daylight at 7 o'clock. It's dark at 5.
Yeah.
I called Cotton. I'm like, bro, you better pair me up with a girl because I'm not knocking on the door after dark out here. I'm going to get shot.
Yep.
I'm too big to be knocking on people. He's like, you just think that. I'm like, bro, I'm knocking on these doors and nobody's answering. But if I had a little high school girl or, somebody that was training with me behind me, some kid, they'd be like, let me hear what they got to say. Sad every time. But if I was by myself, I thought, man, I don't need a security system. I'm like, I'm not here to give you a security system.
Yeah.
But when it was dark out there, I didn't know the area, wasn't familiar with it. Most of the time I was walking around because I didn't have a car when it was dark. So yeah, I probably did look a little sketch. And it was always fun. Like I always tried to make the most of every opportunity that I got to knock on a door.
So how long you been with the company now?
I've been with the company now for since November.
What do you think the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome since being out here? What do you think that would be?
Oh man, closing.
Learning how to close, or just the?
I'm not gonna say I'll say learning how to close. I'll say being a closer.
It's a lot more than just running appointments.
All the aspects that come with being a closer.
You got to be a leader.
And I love Dakota to death, but I was the guinea pig. We talked about it last night. We've learned a lot from how I had to. We learned a lot.
Oh, yeah.
The learning curve's going to be a lot shorter for the next guys that come out of ATX.
That's like us now. Like whenever we're training closers, like now I've trained 10 closers already. So it's like it's the onboarding process a whole lot faster.
I had 2 really good closers. Dakota's a dog. Zach Keller's a dog.
Oh yeah.
I had 2 dogs really to pick their brains, but I was so new in the aspect, and they were so knowledgeable. The questions that I was asking them, it was like, bro, what are you like? Well, huh?
Yeah.
Like I didn't have the experience to, and now, like this month's my biggest month we've had, and like I'll call Dakota and we'll talk about an appointment. He'll just start laughing at me. He's like, bro, they couldn't afford the window. He's like, you can't close everybody.
No, it's a number.
You can't. Every deal is not closable. Did you close the closable deals?
Right.
That's it.
So, we had a conversation a couple months ago. I was leaving money on the table. And so Dakota was in Cabo and somebody's credit wouldn't go above 5,000. So I called Matt, our regional. I was like, hey, man, I'm not leaving money on the table, just to let you know. There's about to be a small deal come through. He's like, don't do it. Like, you better run his wife's credit. And I'm like, bro, you don't know where we're at right now. We're running into credit fails. And so, like, I took that dog mentality. Like, I'm not leaving nothing. Like, we're here. I'm here to change people's lives that want to be helped.
Yeah.
If they want to be helped, they're going to get helped. And I look at it now as an opportunity to look. I know about something. Let me tell you about it, and then I'll tell you how you can buy it. And once I took that mindset, like I'm not trying to sell anything. Like I'm
trying to help you solve your problem.
Like, there's a reason I'm in here.
You need this. I need to help you. Like let's make this happen.
Growing as a closer, you learn to use takeaways.
Abundance mentality.
Yeah,
you transform that mindset.
Right, you don't have to put up with no crap. And like, I wish there was a way that you could have told your younger self this. Like, hey, bro, if they don't want to deal with you, they don't want to give you your way, walk away. You'll get what you want from
You don't owe them anything.
And like, how much further would we have been in life right now if we had the cheat code earlier?
Yeah.
But that's what life's about, is learning.
Yeah,
learning through experiences.
But the next thing about that is, are you going to take those experiences and are you going to use the perspective you now have to make the next best decision that you can keep making?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times in life, like we talk about, situations in our office, and a lot of times the conversations between some of our closers are, what's right in front of us, or like what they just did, what just happened. And a lot of times I'm looking at it from a whole different point. Hey man, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, but like, look at what happened in the big picture. Like, I'll break it down into multiple things, just over time. And like, I guess as I get older, your perspective starts changing on things.
The best part about our job is it demands maturity.
Yeah.
It demands it. You can't get around it, and especially as a closer, you're going in these people's houses, and everybody goes through it, right? But when you first go through it, you don't really know what you're doing. You're just trying to figure it out, right? Just going with the punches, and kind of talk about some of your lowest points as a closer.
Oh man.
Let's kind of,
after the newness wore off, when you just knew the script and
got a little comfortable in it. You were like, I understand what I got to do, but you weren't achieving all of the potential.
Because the newness wore off. You're now in the fight, and they know the glare's not in your eye no more. But you're saying what you're supposed to say, but you're just like, yeah, man, this is what we're doing. Blah, blah, blah.
going through the motions.
Just going through it. And you're like, man, I don't know why they went by. I said everything. Yeah, we said, but it was the same thing as the script, like.
You can say the knocker
script
script.
Only gonna work as well as you let it work.
Yep.
But in a sense, when I was becoming a closer, I wanted to be so much like Dakota. Like, I wanted to have Dakota's script. I wanted to have Dakota's punctuation.
Yep.
And I tried to force myself to be this robotic, closer and go in. It wasn't happening. Like, it was not working. And so I finally said, screw it. This ain't working. I said, if this ain't going to work out, I'm going to give it one last shot doing it my way. And so I just went in there and started being Big Red in the door. And things started clicking.
Yep.
And then when I started clicking in the door, my self-set started, clicking. But I always thought, like, as if I've never been in a sales job, so I got to be somebody I'm not.
Yeah.
And so, honestly, the best way you're going to have success in life is being true to yourself. Like, you got to remain humble enough to live your lifestyle. But if your lifestyle is not going to push you in the direction you want to go, something's got to change. So your lifestyle's got to coordinate to where your goals want to take you.
Yeah, you got to become the person that you need to be
and
in order to achieve those.
There's a quote I'll say Rob Dyrdek made, one of the old skateboarders.
Yeah, we know Rob.
He said, if your life's not looking, the way you want it to, use your free time, start designing it to be the way you want it to be. What does that mean? You start, taking your day, start time blocking. I know what time I'm waking up in the morning.
Yep.
6:30 every day.
It's got to be planned. If you just wake up every day and say, what's going to happen today?
Yeah.
You're not going to achieve anything.
I'm just going through.
For us, we got months planned out now. We've got to the point we're planning out the year. Planning out. We know we're going to be going by January of next year. Like, we're just ahead. But successful people, they start to master time, and they realize that it's time versus money. And time equals money. They're all correlated.
It's funny you bring that up. Time. I took first ups from Zach. That was a accomplishment I told him I was going to do in Utah after I got closer script.
Yep.
I said, Zach, I don't know when, but I will be the #1 closer in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You're full of it, man." That's what he told me out in Utah. And I remember the day I took first ups from him in the office. I looked at him and I said, "Hey, Zach." He said, "What?" I said, "Man, when I had the dream that I was going to take first ups from you, you wore that shirt."
Oh, did
And he was like, "Huh?" I was like, "Yeah, it's the shirt you were wearing when I manifested. I was taking first ups from you." And he's like, "You're crazy, Red." But I was like, "Man, I had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that it was going to happen. I didn't know when." Just like I told Carter, I will be the best knocker in this office and the best knocker in the company.
Yeah.
If I was going to be the best knocker in Denver, I knew I'd be the best knocker in the company because Denver was the best office.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be the best closer, I'm going to have to beat one of two people. The dude who trained me to knock, Guppy Guidry,
Yep.
or the dude that helped train me to close, Zach Keller.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in a pretty cool position, as the newest kid on the block.
Has there ever been a time that you felt like people weren't supporting you in coming out here?
Were in support of me?
We're not. We're not in support. Like even like you've
family?
had family. Have you ever felt
I think family thinks I'm crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Talk
family thinks I'm a little wild.
Talk about your tattoo.
I'm a black sheep, man.
Yeah.
So, like I said, man, I'm the free spirit. I'm the life of the party. My family, very traditional family. I love them to death, but I live a different life than they live, and we all went different ways, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna say anything else about that, but I think everybody has their role in life.
Yeah.
My family loves my family, and they all know that. When I see them, I'm happy to be around them, but they're closer to some people than they are me. So no hard feelings. I got friends that I consider family. So it is what it is.
Yeah. What I love the black sheep, by the way.
Well, I am different, so
Yeah, you are a character.
yeah,
We all know that. We all know
that.
that. That's what makes you special, though. That's why we love you. You better say something.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially like the black sheep. If you want to be successful, you got to be first or different. You're not the first guy to come up here. You're different.
No, exactly.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's real. I'll say you're very good at is because even whenever people do doubt you, you use it as fuel, to push you over that next step. Because
Oh, dude, I remember you want to bring that up in particular. I'll highlight a story about this particular situation. We were where I was getting my hair cut when we first got here, knocking in Hood, some good stuff. Joe was like, "Big Red, where are you knocking at?" And I was like, "I'm over here, JoJo." He's like, "Well, let me come hit a few doors with me."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I couldn't set, bro. I was trying to set the perfect appointment. I was trying to figure it out again. And Dakota, Joe's, shadowing me, got a full water bottle. Like, we just got out my car.
Yeah.
And we were like, maybe 2 houses down. Here comes Dakota. Pulls back up. "What are you doing, man?" And Joe's like, "He's helping me, bro. I just want to see how he's getting through this objection real quick." And Dakota's like, "I told y'all to quit knocking." He's like, "He can't knock right now. Like, he don't know how to set an appointment." And as soon as him and Joe rolled off, boom, that door that come outside, when he told me I couldn't do it, set it. Boom, right then and there.
Yeah.
I love when the odds are against me.
Yeah.
I love being the underdog.
Yeah. Tell me I can't, and I'll show you.
Yeah, watch me.
That's a mindset that's really important in this industry as well. Because, I mean, it's just everybody that you tell that you're coming out here to do this job, what do? They're like, door to door. Are you sure about
You're
that?
scared. You need to get something with some security.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I will say about family. So I went home for Christmas, and it was a small because somebody was sick or something. So I remember me and my uncle were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, you always, been a free spirit. I just, want to see you settle down somewhere where you got some, some type of growth." Well, hey, Uncle Sean, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't
Settling
going nowhere.
down.
Like,
Yeah.
That's seeing the Wolf of Wall Street. This is there's gonna have to be a civil war or something to go down for me to quit this job.
Yeah.
Like there's no way, because everybody back home, they always talk about finding, man, I wish I had that job that I could, set my own schedule theoretically, make name my salary, basically. That's what we do as closers. We name our salary.
How hard you willing to work?
And I was like, hey, dude, I found it. You want to come work with me? I'll give you the same opportunity. They're like, no, bro, that's crazy. I'm like, no, you're scared, bro. Like, just take the leap of faith and you'll be rewarded.
Yeah, I'll guide you.
Like,
I'll show you the whole way.
I think I need to be a little easier on the recruits because it's intimidating. It really is intimidating whenever, like, me and Dakota live a lavish lifestyle. You live a lavish lifestyle as well. Yeah. And it's intimidating whenever you go from eating out on Saturday night once a week to talking to somebody that literally gets free food from DoorDash because we use it so much.
Right.
Like, it's a completely different lifestyle. And it's not that we didn't earn this because we put in the time, we put in the work. But everybody back home, it must be nice. Well, no, it is nice. I paid to have my house clean. Yeah, it's real nice. But that's a luxury I can afford because I've put in the extra work.
Sacrifice.
I've figured out a way to make more. And I wish that people back home would question, hey, how are y'all doing this? Hey, come knock on the door. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Simple. Just come knocking. That's as simple as it gets, man. Just come knocking and you'll
got to take the leap of faith.
Take the leap of faith.
So that's my biggest advice to anybody is just give that leap of faith the chance, and it's gonna grow flowers.
I always say if you're scared, you do it. If you're scared to do it, you better dive in head first. No other options, and
you're scared because it's meant to work.
And I will say that my family I think they gotta love that about me. I'm the wild one. I moved for no reason twice, and now a third time. But look at how rewarding it's been for me.
Yeah, and you ain't done moving yet.
Yeah, no, I'm headed to the coast.
It's coming.
They know that's where I want to be, and I don't know which one of you is going to be my regional, but y'all know whenever y'all come over to Big Red's house, he's going to have badass barbecue going down.
Oh, every day.
You just got to keep building the team.
So
got to keep building the team, keep recruiting, keep working on yourself, and the results will follow.
That's it.
Well, cool, bro. Well, we're glad to have you on episode 22.
23.
23.
Michael Jordan's still alive. So no RIP.
Yeah. Episode 23, bro. Glad to have you on. How much revenue you produce this month?
I think we're at like 312.
312. Yeah, pretty impressive. Been a closer for what, 4 months?
Time's not the same as a closer, man.
5 months. Yeah, 5 months.
I've lived like 3 different lives since we've got
number 2 in the company. So, well, heck yeah, man. Glad to have you on. Any last words for the people?
Man, dude, take a leap of faith.
Take a leap of faith.
Trust your friends that are trying to help you.
Yeah. So if you're working at, what's your Instagram name?
Clay Davis Official.
Clay Davis Official. Y'all go follow. Y'all go follow Clay Davis. Reach out to him. He's in the process of currently building his team. Doing very well. He can show you how to do it. You can come live with him for 2 months. Give you all the tools.
I might give you like 1 in like 3.5 weeks.
1 in 3.5 weeks.
I did it pretty quick. I had a great.
I always say 1 is guaranteed. The second month is we're going to push you out sometime during that second month.
Based.
Yeah.
But no, if you come stay with one of the best people in the company to learn how to do it, you're going to succeed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so if you've got somebody reaching out to you like, hey, bro, you should do this, take them up on it, bro. Best opportunity you're going to have.
Yeah. Life-changing.
It's like me and Dakota told somebody the other day, don't let me run it into you back home in 10 years. Don't let the thought in your head be, man, I wish I would have took them up on that.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's going to happen to a lot of people.
Not us, though.
Not us. We made that leap of faith, bro. So, hey, we're glad to have you on, man. To the listeners, make sure you like, subscribe, and share the channel. And if you're interested in possibly coming on to the podcast, send us a message. Our man Jack will get back with you, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks. Peace.
Yeah.